Hey, 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 put your hand in the man. That was the song. Put your man in the hand. Whoever sang that, I can't remember. I don't know. It's one of those old songs that people used to like, but I don't know if they like them anymore. Who knows? Don't worry about me. I'm pushing buttons. I'm doing everything here I have to do before I start the show. There's a million things to do, believe it or not. We got a recorder. We got the song list. We got the streamer. We got the video. Everything's got to be right before I can start this puppy, and then I'm good to go, right? So yeah, so let's see what's going on here. Everything seems to be working all right here, and away we go on this Manic Monday, June 10th. What a crappy weekend! Let's start out with a crappy weekend. Let's face it, this was a pretty bad weekend. Rain, junky weather. Even Saturday was pleasant, but it wasn't. We're in June here, and it's 58 degrees outside. Are you kidding me? This is like crazy. It's going to rain again. Just miserable weather. It's not good weather for the start to the summer. We're going to have to hope up that this is like shifted a little bit, and we're going to have a beautiful August and July, August, and September. Because this doesn't impress me at all. Doesn't what do they say? Don't impress me much. But before we get going with anything, let's start with our sponsors: Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Now when it's all said and done, this weather reminds you of winter coming up, and you think, oh, geez, maybe I got to get my heater checked in my car. Get those snow tires back on, excuse me, and everything else. But no, it's June, so you should be getting your snow tires off, and you should be getting your car ready for those trips this summer because the last thing you want to do is break down when you're on the road. Been there, done it, hated it. Yeah, it's not much fun, especially when you got screaming brats in the car and they want to get to where they're going and put on their snorkels and fins and goggles. So you go to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, you get him to check over your car. He has all the diagnostic tools to make sure that your car is running tip top. He'll fix it, get you on the road. You'll be happy. Your car will be happy. Your brakes will be happy. Your oil will be happy. Everything will be happy. And when you go see Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop with Ken Hunter, the proprietor of that establishment, and he also has a full body shop. So if you get in a fender bender or a major collision, take your car there. Ken's going to fix it right up, shiny and new, get you on the road again, and away you go. Yeah, so, take it. Wild Bill's Auto Repair Body Shop. Tell them Paul from your city, your voice sent you. And a shout out to all the listeners and that. I've had a lot of comments on the videos, and thank you very much. Don't forget to like the video, of course. You want to hit that like button and even a notification so when a new video pops up, you can watch it. But I've had a lot of comments from a lot of people I know and some that I don't know neither. And I really thank them for watching the show, commenting on it. And of course, I do take the comments to heart. So if you have a criticism or a something that I could do better, let me know. I'd love to hear it. You have to remember, I'm in a small studio here that's really not made for video. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But we do our best. We try our best, and it's also on 4680Q radio as an audio podcast. So some people like videos. Some people would rather just sit there and listen to the podcast and do other things while they're doing it. So you go to 4680q.com, you go to podcasts, so you'll see my show and you'll see all the different episodes of my show on there too. So either way, you're going to have a shot at listening to it if you feel like it, and that's a good thing. So what a rotten weekend in weather, but a good weekend in sports. We had the 156th running of the Belmont Stakes in New York at the beautiful Saratoga racetrack. And my cousin, the Buzzard, he asked me yesterday, shouldn't the Belmont be a Belmont? It was at Saratoga. Why? That was a really good question, and I couldn't answer it. I had no idea. I knew it was at Saratoga, but I never even thought of that. And the reason is because they're doing a total facelift at Belmont Racetrack. And for the next 2 years, this year, next year, it's going to be at Saratoga, and then they're going to bring it back. So anyway, a long shot won 17-1 door knock. He bested the field, holding a late charge from Mindframe and the favorite Sierra Leone. They came flying. Sierra Leone got out of the gate bad, and he never recovered. He ended up third, and Mindframe came second. They were the two that were everybody was looking at to win. So yeah, it was a great race, 17-1 shot. If you had it, you made a few buckaroonies. And so each leg of the Triple Crown this year was won by a different horse. Mystic Dan won the Kentucky Derby at 16-1. The Preakness was won by Seize the Gray at 9-1, and the Belmont by Dornock at 17-1. Louis Saez was the jockey. He got the lead and brought the 3-year-old home. Congratulations to Louis Saez. He takes down a cool couple $100,000 for his share of the $2 million prize. That was the first thing that was happening on Saturday, and then on down to Florida on Saturday as well. We saw the buzzsaw called the Florida Panthers. Showed the Edmonton Oilers you don't need a lot of shots to win a game. No, you don't need a lot of shots, just good ones, especially when you have a probable Conn Smythe winner, Bobrovsky, in goal. This guy shut down the Oilers, gave them a big donut for their night, and yeah, the Cats did what they've been doing all series. I mean, through the playoffs, they've been taking time and space away from the teams, and they've been really, really squeezing guys like McDavid, the talent of the team. They did it to the Rangers by the sixth game. The Rangers looked dog tired. They just didn't have it, and they're doing the same. They're doing the same. So I know all of Canada is rooting for the Oilers. Oh, we want a Canadian team to win it this year. But to be honest with you, I said it from the beginning. Somebody from the East is going to win it. I always thought that. And with Florida playing the way they are, Oilers are going to be hard pressed. But I know Canadians want it. They'd be the first Canadian team to win. Yeah, well, they're one of the first Canadian teams to be in the finals. The Montreal Canadiens were 2 or 3 years ago during COVID. If they won the cup, they'd be the first Canadian team to win the cup since the Montreal Canadiens won it in 1993. So I don't know. Florida's they're on a mission. I mean, they went there last year. They didn't win it. They learned. They're back this year, and this time they're not going to be denied. It doesn't look like, but you know what? Hey, it's professional hockey. These are two really, really, really good teams facing off, and anything can happen. So we'll see what goes down. I think they're playing again tonight. And then they take a 3-day stint to go back to Edmonton. As a matter of fact, this is the series, what do I call this? The first series in the history of the Stanley Cup where two teams are like 4,000 miles apart. They're as far apart as you can get, Edmonton to Florida. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays. All that travel is going to be a real pain in the neck too. Now I saw something on Facebook, and I'm going to talk about it just for a little while here, just for a second. And it was about Marineland, but it was like Niagara history and trivia about Marineland, going back to when Marineland started, an old picture, and it had a picture of the Indian village, which I remembered distinctly, and I was there a lot. Um, at that time, Marineland, what they really had in Marineland was a dancing bear, some deer you could feed, an aquarium, and Jeff the Seal who would do tricks and stuff, right? That was basically all Marineland had. And actually, this seal I remember escaped, and the first thing he heads for is water, which is the Niagara River. He jumps in, goes down the river over the falls, swims down through the through the rapids. They found the seal somewhere in like down in Youngstown, New York, out in the water. Somebody reported seeing the seal, and they finally John Holer rushed down there and ended up grabbing this seal, and yeah, he you say you got the seal out of the water, brought him back to Marineland, and I mean that's a long way from Marineland to Niagara Lake. So the seal didn't walk it. Let me put it that way. There's only one way to get there, and the fastest way is right down the river over the falls. But he made it. He brought back. He lived a long life, and everything else. And I I was looking all this up, and Marineland, did you know? Here's a good did you know. John Holler, the owner of Marineland, was actually named Ivan Holerjem. He was born in 1934 in Maribor, Slovenia, then part of Yugoslavia. I never knew that. I always thought his name was just John Holler, but no, he was born in Slovenia, and his name was Ivan Holerjam. Called himself John Holler. So that was pretty interesting. And Jeff the Seal had a long life, and he went on to greet guests, giving them his flipper handshakes. And yeah, there you go. Interesting story about Jeff the Seal. I remember that like it was yesterday. Don't ask me why. If you ask me what I did yesterday, I have a hard time remembering that crap. But this wacky stuff from years ago, I remember. So a little bit more about the Indian village that was there, right? That was a pretty neat place, and it was owned by a real estate broker named Murray Ruda. He's the guy who built the attraction. Now, this came after Marineland. Marineland, John Holler owned that land he bought from the Oaks for his first little aquarium and dancing bear thing. But the other part of the land, was owned by Murray Ruda. He was a real estate agent in Niagara Falls, and he built the attraction. And he was rumored to have won the Irish Hospital sweepstakes. Now, anybody who's over maybe 60, somewhere in around there, probably remembers the Irish Hospital sweepstakes. That was before any lotteries in Canada, anything. The Ontario Olympic Lottery was the first lottery that came out in 1967. But before that, there was nothing except the Irish sweepstakes, they called it. And basically, you would buy these tickets put out by guys who ran the Irish Hospital sweepstakes in Ireland. And what they did was they took the money and then donated a bunch of it to the hospital sweepstakes, but I think they kept a lot for themselves because how do you track it? And there's always a question of whether your tickets were actually going into the pool to win, because we're in Canada. The guys who sold them were kind of like agents, and then they would mail all the stubs back to these guys from the Irish Hospital sweepstakes, and then they would submit them into the pot, for a possible win. And what they did was they based this Irish Hospital sweepstakes on the results of the three big races in England: the 2000 Guineas, the Derby, and the Saint Leger. And tickets were sold around the world. I mean, there's millions of them out there. And whoever won those races, the three numbers I think they probably used, and it was a nine digit number that came out of it. Like the one horse, say 1, 2, 3 came in, then the other one, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they just used those numbers. And whatever that number was, the winning tickets had that number. They won. They split the pool after these guys took out their cut, of course. And that's how they figured it out. Now, this Murray Ruda gentleman, he actually was supposed to have won that. So he started the Indian village. And what it was is the perimeter was like all like sticks cut out of trees, tall, very tall, and was surrounded by these small tree trunks all lashed together to form this wall around Biden wouldn't like this because he don't like walls, but a wall around the village. And then inside were like hand-built huts and everything else. And a bunch of Native Canadians would come down from Deserano and other places, and they'd have all their ceremonial attire on: the buckskin, the moccasins. They'd have the feathers and the headbands, just like you would see in I don't know, I guess a movie on TV or something. Headdresses, the whole shot. And they had people in there doing arts and crafts. Making moccasins and that kind of thing. It was pretty, really, really pretty interesting. I know today the woke would be protesting outside and blah blah blah, the indigenous. But at the end of the day, when people went there, when kids went there from school, they learned how everything was done, how this clothing was made, how everything was made. They learned how it was done watching firsthand. And plus they would do their dances with the drums and everything. It was educational. It wasn't meant to degrade any indigenous. It was educational. But basically, it was really amazing. It was almost like the pioneer villages you saw up north of Guelph and all that. There's pioneer villages up there. They had the old huts they made and how people lived those days. They'd be dressed in the attire of the pioneers and horses and wagons and stuff. So it was very, very interesting and highly educational. So basically, what happened is that eventually Holer bought it. The Indian village closed down. Holer bought it, the property, and the rest is history with Marineland. The hospital sweepstakes, well, they went the way of the dodo. In 1987, Ireland legalized lotteries, which meant that that lottery had no use anymore. Nobody would buy the tickets from Ireland, and Ireland the government just basically took over the lotteries like they did in Canada. Like they did in Canada, same thing. They legalized it, and the Irish sweepstakes slowly turned into the Irish Lotto, and they run it from to this day. But the sweepstakes are gone. The Indian village didn't last long. It started in the early '60s, about 5 or 6 years after Holer started Marineland, and basically Marineland purchased the land from the Ruta family and began their expansion of Marineland to what it is today. And of course, Marineland now they're on their way out as well. We've seen the protests, we've seen the people yelling and screaming about the animals and everything. And I agree. I mean, you can't have a 2,000 pound whale, 40, 50 foot whale in a tank. It just doesn't make sense. And it's just a kickback to the carnivals. They used to have sideshows with the bearded woman and people who had deformities and disabilities and oddities, and they used to charge money to get in. And although everybody yells and screams about it, these people who had these afflictions really didn't couldn't get normal jobs, and they made their money and their living by running with these carnivals and these circus sideshows. So in one way, it was good for them, but in another way, it just people just grew up and said, "No, this isn't right. Putting these people on display like this and people paying to see them, it's just not right." And they went the way of the dodo, and Marineland's going to go the way of the dodo. The Indian village went the way of the dodo, and all these old things. But his trip down memory lane was great. And if you don't remember the Indian village, my dad was a plumber, and he did all the plumbing in there because yeah, they did that plumbing. I mean, they had to have plumbing, right? And so I got to go in there a lot, and my dad knew Murray Rooter real well and did work for him too. So yeah, we got to go in there a lot, and it was interesting as heck. And I hope everybody. It's too bad everybody couldn't see this, but if you ever see these indigenous gatherings or anything, I advise you to go. It's really, really interesting. I sat there on the Chichiman going from Tobermory to Manitoulin Island, and there was an indigenous on there doing his dances and songs, and I was transfixed. I mean, I just had to watch this guy. It was so fantastic. Um, it's just part of our history, part of our heritage, and it was really, really neat. So I advise you go check it out. I'm telling you, it's neat. It's neat history and neat to know. So here's another weird one. Let's go over to Beamsville for a minute. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things going on up in Beamsville. All the time. But this is a really weird one. Now, yeah, and I tell you what, weird. Even the name Beamsville is weird. But a wacko with an ATV, that's always a dangerous combination. Crazy people running around in ATVs. He strapped the big tank on, filled it with Roundup or some other grass killer, and he attacked the lawn at the Bench Brewing Company. Yeah, he ran his ATV up and down the lawn at the Bench Brewing Company, and he killed all the grass. $70,000 worth of damage. Can you believe this? $70,000 worth of damage. I don't know. It could be what? A disgruntled employee? What do you think? Disgruntled employee, a person that got bounced out of the bar, the brewery, for being unruly, an insurance job. There's always that possibility. They wanted a new lawn. A former partner or investor who feels he got screwed. I mean, that's what they usually look for, the cops, right? I'm not saying any of this happened, but when you talk about rounding up the usual suspects, this is the kind of stuff they look for, right? Somebody who's got a grudge for sure. And this, I guess, this isn't unusual in Beamsville. A similar event in August the 1st, 2023, not even a year ago, cost the brewery, well, it's an insurance company anyway, 50,000 to replace more damaged grass. Somebody damaged more grass. I think it's time to up the quality of its beer or drop the alcohol content. It's making people crazy. So they claim the ATV used appears to be gray or green. So a gray or green ATV, three headlights, and a large liquid herbicide container sprayer slash sprayer attached to the rear. The tank is not permanently affixed. So this guy got this tank up there, strapped her on with some nice straps, then filled it up with some kind of liquid, drove it down to Beamsville Brewing and hammered their lawn. I think everybody in Beamsville has one of these, so it's going to be hard to find, I'd say. Uh, I think if it was me and I was doing the investigation, here's what I would do. First of all, get a sample of the stuff that was sprayed on. Get some of the grass. Gather up some of the grass. Figure out the kind of herbicide or whatever the hell it was, lawn killer that was used, and then go around and try to find somebody who bought a large quantity of this stuff. Because I mean, that's a lot of liquid to be causing $70,000 worth of damage, right? Find out who's got this, and then find out who sells it, and then find out who bought it. Take all the leads down, and then start tracking these guys down until they catch the guy. Colombo would have solved this by now, but we're talking about the Niagara Regional Police here, and sometimes they just don't have the ability or maybe just the interest to solve some of these cases. Um, anymore it's like that. Insurance will pay for it. People steal today. They go in stores and steal, and they say, insurance will pay for it. Don't worry about it. They don't even take the call anymore. So, yeah, pretty weird, though, huh? Beamsville. I don't know what the heck people are thinking. Why would anybody do this? This is totally insane. Why would anybody do this? They have nothing better to do at 5 in the morning than to go to the brewery and spray all the lawns and kill them all? I don't get it. I don't know. It's out of my realm anyway. It's out of my realm of thinking. I just can't figure it out at all. But hey, that's me. What do I know? I don't know nothing. I get a headache from the weather. Okay, so let's go up to Toronto for a minute because this is pretty wild too. Now, the Indians have taken over the theaters in Toronto, and it isn't pretty. And I'm not talking about the indigenous Indians. I'm talking about the East Indians. They want to go see a Bollywood spectacular. If you want to go, wear a flak jacket. Because there's a guy shooting up the front of these places for some bizarre reason. Apparently, these gangs are going wild in Toronto, pulling up the cinemas that are showing these Indian films and blasting the front entrances. And then they take off. Now, three movie theaters across the GTA have suffered this fate, and film industry experts and members of the South Indian group in Toronto believe the drive-by shootings are the work of organized crime who want to control the market of South Indian language films by intimidating theaters and distributors, thereby limiting screenings to favorite independent venues. So they have in the independent, they have venues they want to show this movie at. They control them, and they want the movie showed there. So anybody who's showing it that isn't with them, they get shot up. That's what they said. But it's cast a chill over the Tamil, Telugu, and Malayali communities in Toronto. I didn't even know there were these communities in Toronto. There's Omar out there. How you doing, Omar? Yeah, every day Omar looks in and says hello. There he is, getting into his truck. Goodbye, Omar. See you later. Okay. So I mean, now the York Regional Police say the shootings in January and the recent ones have no indication they are related. Are you kidding me? Indian film, same theater, same MO, drive by and shoot. do they really need a roadmap to figure this one out? Now, news is they arrested a man so far for the shootings. His name is Andrew Douglas. Now, that doesn't sound Indian to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. I guess he didn't like the movie or doesn't like Indians, one or the other. Either way, he's under arrest, and police are looking for a partner in this crime. Apparently, they were driving a stolen vehicle for the drive-by. Well, I mean, that makes sense, right? That's not shock. So I guess in 2024, the biggest release from India is the action epic Mailakotai Valaban. And it was set to premiere in dozens of cinemas across the country, and two companies were locked in distribution rights fights. Yeah, they're fighting over distribution rights. This is it. Wherever there's money, right? In 2015, the cinemas across the GTA screening these Indian movies were the targets of screen slashings and pepper spray attacks. I don't get it. Why do you guys bring their problems over here? Go to the movie, watch the movie, enjoy it in Bollywood. Nope, they gotta cause trouble. These films, it's going to happen. I'm going to tell you, nobody's going to show them anymore. The Indians are going to have to buy their own theater and show them, and they're going to get shot up, and then they won't show them anymore because there's too much trouble when they show them. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, they say diversity is our greatest strength, but I don't know. I think, I don't think it's helping any diversity because they're fighting amongst each other now in Canada. Wasn't bad enough they fought each other in the other world. Now they're coming over here and fighting each other. They're not diverse. Diversity bringing people in is good. Then they go into a pot, they melt, they become Canadians, they assimilate, and they have their culture and they have their ceremony, but they really should be trying to be Canadian. But no, I don't know. So anyway, that's what's happening there. If you're going to go see an Indian movie, wear a flak jacket. Wear a flak jacket. We don't have enough going on, right, in the world. We got a war in Ukraine with Russia. We got Hamas slaughtering a bunch of Israelis, and the Israelis are PO'd and clobbering them all now. We got the Houthis claiming they're blowing up American warships. They're firing missiles at them. You got Hezbollah up in the north, firing missiles down at Israel. There's so much stuff going on in the world. North Korea, we're going to talk about them in a minute. They're I don't know what the hell up there. They're going really wacky over there. But we don't have enough going on. But now we have a potentially hazardous asteroid headed towards Earth. In the next few days, it's supposed to be making a close pass by. But, thanks for the warning. I mean, do you think my World War I Army helmet, think it'll protect me? I don't know. But anyway, it's coming whizzing by. Asteroid CR9 is approximately 350 to 750 meters in diameter. Pretty big hunk of rock. And asteroids that big that come closer than 7.8 million kilometers from Earth are dangerous. This baby will be running by at about 7.4 million miles, probably around 30,000 miles per hour or something. That's very close in space terms. And it might even make a closer run to Earth. We don't know. Of course, they tell you it's coming. They don't know where it's going to go. I mean, they're pretty sure it's going to miss it. But you know what? Another asteroid comes and hits it off course, and it's headed right down course for. Well, let's hope it heads for California and wipes that out because really, who wants California anyway? Or New York City, that'd be good. But it's running by, and most likely it whiz by without even making a whisper. So get your telescopes out. You might be able to see it, a little white line going across the sky. And if the white line that's going across the sky, the little white dot, starts getting to be a bigger white dot and looks like it's coming at you, duck. That's all. That's the best advice I can give you because, it shouldn't be doing that. It should be going away. But there you go. And what makes you laugh is they give you this news. And darn well there's zillions of asteroids out there, all running all over the place. And some come out from behind the sun and come right at Earth and other planets. but you can't see them because the sun's so bright. You can't even see them until they're so close that it's too late to do anything. You're not going to be sending Robert Duvall and what's his name up there, the other guy, Bruce Willis, up there to fix stuff. No, that's not going to happen. So anyway, you got a telescope. Watch for the CR9 or whatever it's called, and like I say, it comes at you, and it's starting to get bigger. Go hide under the desk. Now, were you a fan of the Squid Games? Well, they've announced season 2 is coming, and it should be hit Netflix by the end of the year. Now, I don't know if you watch Squid Games or not, but it was about a deadly contest among poor competitors, and they'd sign up and they'd say they wanted to play in the Squid Games, and the winner was going to get, I don't know, pay all his bills or something like that or whatever, make him rich anyway, right? I can't remember. I watched it. It was really, really good. And basically, they'd all go in these competitions. Like the one was like red light, green light. There's a big. They had a big statue that was like a robot, and they go red light and green light, right? Green light, and everybody could run around. But it said red light. If you were still moving, they shot you. And these guys thought if you're still moving, you're out of the game. No. You quit moving, they kill you. Right? They machine gun you down. And they signed a waiver for all this. So anyway, they went through a bunch of these different scenarios and these different challenges until one person won it, right? So pretty wild, pretty crazy out of Korea. Show was 9 episodes long and was the most watched series on Netflix. Nominated for 14 Emmys, including Best Drama Series, winning 6 awards. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it. Go to Netflix, watch Squid Games, and you get ready for season 2 at the end of the year. I can't wait till it comes back. It was fantastic. I loved it, and I hope it comes back strong. Yeah, I can't wait to see the second season because the first season was so great. I don't know how they're going to top the second season, but obviously they have a plan, and it's probably going to be very, very good. So let's talk about my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. If you go through a neighborhood at night and you see one of these nice houses lit up with these beautiful lights, it looks fantastic. It's probably Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. They're the leader in track lighting around the region. And what they do, they come down to your house. Colin Buckborough comes down to your house, gives you an estimate of what it's going to cost. And when they put them up there, this track lighting, and they put the tracks in with the lights, and they're the same color as your soffit or your eaves, wherever they can put them, and you don't even notice them there. Like if you walk by in the daytime, you wouldn't even see these things. They're all LED lights, so good on your pocketbook as far as power goes, and they're virtually invisible. Now, of course, when you walk by a house where somebody's put up their Christmas lights, there's cords all over the place, a big extension cord hanging down. It's a big mess. You can tell they're there. Some guy risked his life to get up on the ladder to get up there and put them up, and he's going to risk his life again coming down and getting the ladder up to take them down, of course. It's a two-way street with those. But these aren't like that. Once they're up there, they're up there. They have a 10-year warranty. They're all sealed against water and dust, and every connection is soldered and then sealed so that water can't get in there. They have the 10-year warranty, like I said, any problems, and they also have financing available. So if you're Griswold and you want to really Griswold your house up, it costs a little bit more. You might not have the money to plunk down, but they'll certainly finance the whole project so that you make monthly payments to pay it off. And basically, it's an open financing. So if you get a wad of money, say you go to the casino, win 10 grand, then you can plop it down and pay for your lights. So anyway, a great thing. Colin Buckborough is the proprietor. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. The number to contact is 289-969-1797. That's 289-969-1797. Or go to glowstonelighting.com. That's just like it sounds, glowstonelighting.com. And if you want to hear more about them, you can go to the website. They have a whole gallery of pictures, just beautiful. Or listen to my show from last Monday. Colin was in here. We sat for an hour and talked about Hamilton Glowstone Lighting and how they do things. And they even have a follow-up program where once a year they'll come out and look at your lights to make sure they're all right. and they're working like they should be. But the neat thing is they're controlled off your phone and they're in zones. So you want red and green for Christmas, half your house red, half your house green. You want red and white for Canada Day, orange for Halloween, purple if you're a Prince fan, whatever St. Patrick's Day green, whatever you want. There's a million different combinations, and you can adjust them all from your phone. So it's fantastic. I got to get them out to look at my house. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Call him Buckborough Proprietor. Give him a call today. Tell him Paul from your city, your voice sent you. So what's up now? Somebody sent me a picture. I have a lot of people who listen and send me pictures of around town of crap. But what's up with this building on the corner of Bridge and 4th Street? They're building some kind of a fourplex or something on there. Have you been by there and seen it? It's like about halfway finished, and it really looks like crap. Glow sent it to me. She was driving by, and nothing. It's halfway finished, and nothing. It's just sitting there. It's been sitting there for a year, I think. Now there's a safety fence around it, and it really does look like crap coming up Bridge Street. I mean, we don't have enough blown out. Is this goof? No, that's not him. Anyway, don't listen to me. I'm commenting on what's going outside the studio here, right? But yeah. So what's going on with these buildings? You go up Bridge Street, it's under construction. There's that big house there with all the plastic on it. You got all broken down buildings. You got the traffic circle. Then you got hoses board. I mean, what's going on over here with this? This is out of control. And you say, well, it's only one, Paul. Oh, it's only one building. What are you worried about? Yeah, we'll go down to Drummond or Dunn and Stanley. There's a broken down building there, a parking ramp that's been sitting there for 17 years. Take a shot and get an ice cream at the Dairy Queen on Ferry Street. There's a hole big enough to sink the Titanic in, and they're not doing anything with that. A big fence around it. And then you go to where the hell else is? Oh, you go to Chippewa. And you got the boathouse there building condos. Some that's a big hole filling up with water, a fence around it, and nothing. I mean, is there no way to force these developers once they start a project to finish them? What's the problem here? We don't hear any reports coming out of City Hall on what's going on with it. I mean, they make all kinds of excuses. Raka, whatever his name was, the agent for the developer or whatever, was in City Hall a year ago in May, saying that, oh yeah, don't worry about it. They have some water issues. They're just getting all that water out. Once it dries up, they'll be able to start building again. Baloney, another lie. Like, oh, are these guys con artists? What's going on with these things? They look like crap. The city looks like crap. And then you got these buildings that never get finished. And I don't know if there's any way anybody can lean on them. Or, I don't know, do we have lawyers maybe that could tell us what's going on? But it seems to me like if you want to start a project and you run out of money, you can just leave it there until you get more money. It doesn't matter how long it stays there. It doesn't matter the city looks like crap with them. It doesn't matter if there's a safety issue. Climb that fence, you can jump in there and kill yourself. I don't get it. I don't know what kind of contracts these people sign with the city. Who makes these contracts? There's nothing that penalizes them for not building or not having it done in what they estimate is going to be the right amount of time. I mean, it seems dumb that they're just sitting around not being built, and the city's just sitting here going, well, they're not doing anything. There's crickets. That's what you're hearing from them, crickets. Now here's the way you build them right here. I don't know who's doing this building, but if you go down McLeod Road in the corner of Sharon Street and McLeod across from Jubilee Drive there, the fire hall, that building's up. And it's almost finished, by the way. And you know what? It looks exactly like the design the developer and planner gave to the city of their rendition of it. It is really, really nice. I mean, it's not nice for McLeod Road, obviously, because there's way more traffic than you can get through right now. It's like an insane asylum down there. And they're building more and more and more there, and they're not fixing the road. So, but the building itself looks nice, and the residents behind them on Ann Street and some of those back streets over there, I don't know what they're going to do. The traffic's going to be going down there, and then they're going to need a stoplight there. There's a stoplight at the corner of Dorchester, and there's one at the corner of Oakwood. Now, right in between it, at this, they're going to need another stoplight. You got fire trucks flying out of there, and you got the highway. It's just a nightmare. So people aren't going to try to get out on McLeod Road unless they're making a right. They'll be able to, but if they're going to get out on the left, forget about that. They're going to have to find a stoplight, which means going through the back subdivision behind the Man Street and all that. So, but the building is almost done, and it looks beautiful. I will give the developers credit. They are building nice units there. It's a nice build, and good for them. Good for them. The other people, boo, bad for us. You don't complete your work, and then the city doesn't seem interested in getting it finished. So I don't know. Can anybody tell me? Does anybody care? Does anybody know what time it is? Does anybody really care? It doesn't appear to it anymore, right? Okay. Now we were talking about the Koreans for a bit here, right? And now the crazy North Koreans, they're not letting their garbage go to waste. Nope, so to speak. Playing words there. Once again, they're sending their garbage via balloons to South Korea. Now they did that about a week or a couple of weeks ago, and South Korea said, "You know what? This violates every bit of the agreement we signed about propaganda and noise and sending leaflets over propaganda leaflets. So we quit that because of the agreement you signed, and now you put trash in plastic garbage bags, attach them to balloons, and fly them over, and they drop in. Well, they're dropping all over the place, right? So South Korea says, screw that. They got their speakers out again. They started blasting loud pop music at the border and started sending propaganda leaflets over again. So, so now the North Koreans are mad, and the South Koreans said, "Listen, you broke this agreement we had. Now we're going to be doing what we did before." But the North Koreans, they don't care. They just loaded up a bunch more balloons with garbage and sent them over. Right? They didn't care. They weren't going to be outdone by these South Koreans and their pop music and propaganda leaflets. So they flew more balloons over the border right into South Korea again. Now the North Koreans are mad. They're mad about this, right? They're mad. The South Koreans are mad, and they were seen putting up speakers in North Korea now, facing South Korea. So they figure they're going to give them a taste of their own medicine, I guess. Now, Kim Jong Un's powerful sister, Jo Jong, said that South Korea has created the prelude to a very dangerous situation, and that South Korea would experience an unspecified new response from the from the north if the music and leaflet drops continue. So she's powerful. She's as powerful as his brother. She runs the ministry of everything, and she's like maybe going to take over if this guy kicks it or they kill him first. But anyway, she says, "Hey, South Korea's good. We're gonna get you if you don't stop this." She sternly warned South Korea to immediately cease dangerous activities that would further provoke a crisis of confrontation with them, and told them to stop it. We don't want to hear your pop music. Turn off that Celine Dion. We don't want to hear it. I don't blame them for that, but they don't want to hear it. And they don't want propaganda leaflets coming there. And these speakers, they blast out news and propaganda and everything and pop music. So the South Korean Joint Chief of Staff, Lee Sung Yoon, said these statements represented a heightened verbal threat, but did not comment on any action South Korea is going to take. But he stressed the attack by North Korea. They have the soldiers at the border to hit back hard and fast if necessary. So they're rattling the sabers at each other, sending garbage, sending propaganda, sending leaflets. Now they're all putting up speakers on both sides, and they're going to blast each other with speakers. You know, when I think about this, it's better than shooting bombs and everything off, right? You know, they're sending music over. Wait till they get a load of North Korea gets a load of Metallica or something and see what happens with that. Now, in 2015, when South Korea restarted their loudspeaker campaign, North Korea lobbed artillery shells across the border, prompting South Korea to return fire. So, this is something that's happened before, and they did start shooting at each other. So, yeah, you never know what they're going to do. They're wacky. They're all wacky. And North Korea, they've been developing their missiles and everything, so you never know. They might just lob a loogie over that border and really clobber them good, and then South Korea's back, and who knows. But that's what's happening there, and they're playing the garbage games here. You know, your cash ain't nothing but trash. Here it comes, and I wonder what maybe those balloons they sent over here had trash in them. If we ever got mad at Niagara Falls, New York, you watch out, you Americans over there. Canada ever gets mad, you're going to start getting some of the trash from Canada and putting in bags coming with balloons. How about that? Maybe we'll do something like that. So watch for that one. It's not only wild, it could start something. Can you imagine a balloon with trash is going to start a war? But it's entertaining to watch. It's entertaining to follow. Yeah, pretty crazy. And down south, you got to go down south here because there's so much happening over there. Trials and Hunter Biden and Donald Trump. And today Trump goes for his probation hearing. No, not his probation hearing, for his sentencing hearing, where he talks to people and they ask him a bunch of questions, and this judge has got to decide on his sentence by July 11th. I think that's the date of sentencing. So in the meantime, of course, because he's not in court every day like he was for 5 weeks, he can actually campaign all the time. So he was in Las Vegas this week, and it was like over 100 degrees, so hot, and he had his guys with big, the misting fans, blowing mist over the crowd, and he gave everybody. They were able to bring umbrellas in, and of course he was giving out water and everything because it was so hot. And they had a lot of extra medics on hand, so he gave a big rousing speech as usual. And there's only 6 medical incidents, but it's very, very hot down in the Southwest now in Arizona, Texas, Las Vegas. Really, really hot. So basically, he gave a speech, and people were going crazy. They love him. And that unprecedented conviction has really juiced up his campaign. And they thought it was going to kill him. Convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon. Every news show, convicted felon, ad nauseum. They just keep saying convicted felon, but at the end of the day, he's raised $500 million, and people are starting to love him even more. These guys are even better because they love their villains in the United States, right? And he's a villain for sure. And he's got a video conference today. He's going to be interviewed by New York probation officials. And that's a required step before his sentencing in July 11th by that paid for Judge Mercan. And it's too bad the kangaroo court kept Trump off the campaign trail for 5 weeks. The weather may have been cooler down in Vegas when he got a chance to go down there. He's making his way through the southern U.S. campaign stops. Now, of course, the left-wing media is using every way to discredit Trump. Like I said, yelling about him being a convicted felon. But, the more they say it, the more of a badge of honor it is. Because I'm doing all this for the people. This is just part of it. They're railroading me and all that, but it's because they don't want you to have freedoms and stuff and have a good president. They want you to have bum Biden. But anyway, he's running through his campaign stops because in about 18 days, right? Today is the 10th, June 28th. He's got the debate with Sleepy Joe, and of course, then after that, the July 11th sentencing. But that debate's going to be crazy. Joe's getting worse and worse. He's over in Normandy for June 6th there, D-Day. What a mess. And I don't know, he had to get up in the middle of it and leave, so I don't know if he soiled his diaper or what the hell happened. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just gets up and he's escorted by his Secret Service and wife off the place where they're doing the ceremony. In the middle of the ceremony, for some reason, I can't imagine what it was, but you know, older people, they do have problems with their piping, their plumbing. So forget about that now, though. Trump's going to be on the trail. So for the next 2 weeks, and I can't wait for the debate. Oh, I can't wait for the debate. I got a big struggle. Big struggle. June 28th is the NHL draft. How can I miss the NHL draft to watch the debate? I gotta watch the debate. I'll hear about the draft. I can watch it after, but the debate is you got to watch it live. It's got to be live to see this, what goes on. Got to watch it live. I got to watch that live. The draft, but the debate, that's what I got to watch that day. I'm torn. Down to Mexico, new president. Doo-doo-doo-doo. It's not Juan Lopez. It's not any of the names you think. It's Claudia Scheinbaum. What? Claudia Scheinbaum? Did I read that right? Have I got this wrong? That's the new Mexican president. Sounds more like the mayor of Brooklyn to me. I don't know what part of Mexico she's from, Playa de Jerusalem or something, but yeah, she's the new Mexican president. And man, oh man, I'll tell you, this is not an easy job in Mexico. She has to deal with persistent cartel violence, a deeply divided country, and cash-strained social programs. They're going to give her, she's going to wish she never got elected. She got a 6-year term, and she's going to be in the shadow of the outgoing mentor Obrador. He was the guy who was president before. The good thing is she has 4 months to think about this and how she's going to do it before she takes over, because Obrador's there till October 1st. And like I say, she's got a 6-year term to deal with this. Now, around the U.S., California is elated. And, like they love it and they expect to get along well with their leading Mexican politicos. They're saying what's more important than the Mexican election is the United States election, because how she's going to interact with Biden with open borders and everything else, um, compared to Trump with closed borders, get your Mexican army at the border and stop them from coming in. You're responsible for these people. Trump doesn't play ball good with these guys. He makes demands, and he's got the upper edge because he'll embargo, he'll embargo them, he'll place tariffs on them. Yeah, they don't want that, so they're pretty quick at giving into his demands and making things happen when Trump talks. But Biden, not so much. He lets anybody in, lets them all over the border. They don't have to take them back. It's kind of stupid, but that's the Bidenomics. Biden, what do you call that? Biden doctrine. So she's got 4 years to figure this all out. The outcome of the U.S. election could not only influence security, trade, and immigration policies, but also many internal decisions about the Mexican army. Now, the Mexican army, of course, was posted at the border, trying to plug this border up as requested by President Trump, and they were doing a really great job. I mean, the border illegal aliens in the country and border crossing were down 75%. By illegals. So, and he had the wall mostly built. That all changed when Biden got in. Of course, he rescinded all of Trump's policies by executive order. But Trump stands for it. Everybody knows it. Close the border, mass deportation of illegals, and the Mexican army at the border to secure it. So he's going to be asking, and she's going to have to decide what she wants. And she's really got the big oil companies in Mexico. They're the richest people to deal with as well. She's a big environmentalist and would like to see everything go electric. But the big oil companies are the ones that gave her a lot of money and sponsored her. So at the end of the day, I don't know if she can do that. So she's torn with that. The country needs to get rid of violence, and the country needs to strengthen police and prosecutors' offices. Obrador tried to rule the country with the army, and they lost control of the cartels. And to do that, he often hammered civil rights in the process. The one good thing, she did get a majority, and she has enormous power with the majority, and she can change things, and she don't have to go to anybody to get permission or to make deals because she has the numbers to do it on her own. So we'll see if she can control the cartels, and see how she handles all this power she has. Um, there's so much control the cartels have, plus the border and the corrupt police office. They're so corrupt, the police there, and that's why Obrador called in the feds to deal with a lot of things because local police were so crooked. They didn't do anything about cartels or any problems that they're having. So we'll see what happens. Of course, most people who go to Mexico will never notice the change in government or never notice even what's going on. Doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, she's the president, Claudia Scheinbaum. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. I don't know anything about it other than that's her name. I didn't look her up really closely because I really doesn't matter to me. I'm more worried about what's going to happen November 5th in the United States than I am about Mexico. So we're going to wind up this show here, but in case anyone's interested, there's a public meeting scheduled for this Thursday at 4:30 in City Hall chambers, where you can tune in remotely regarding an 812-unit residential building consisting of two towers of 29 and 38 stories on Portage Road, just north of Marineland Parkway. I tried to figure out where that is exactly, and I'm not quite sure where it is. Um, I don't know, but it's close to Marineland, just north of it on Portage Road. So I don't know if it's where that old water tower is or there's a chunk of land, maybe right next to Marineland. I don't know, somewhere in around there anyway. That's what they're going to be talking about. It's its own tourist commercial, and I think they want to have it rezoned to residential so they can build two towers on it. So I would imagine there's going to be some people there talking about it, or maybe not. Maybe nobody cares. A lot of these meetings, they explain what they're going to do, and there's nobody there. Nobody cares. There's not a lot of people that live out there because really, when you think about it, you've got Marineland, you've got that old water tower hydro thing over there. Then you've got a field on the other side. That's probably where it is, somewhere in there. You got on the other side, nothing. Oak Hall and nothing. So, I mean, I don't think there's going to be too much to say about this other than if they meet planning and all that, it'll probably say, okay, great. But a public meeting is going to be held if you want to go in and see what they're doing. If I'm not doing anything, I might take a shot down there and see what's going on. But you know what? It's so unimportant, really, and it's not going to be a big deal. So you can read about it in the paper the next day. Ray Spiteri does great stories on this kind of stuff, and he'll do a great story on that. And a lot of the stories I get, you see, are from Ray Spiteri, John Lyles, and Langley, and a bunch of the crew that work for Niagara This Week and St. Catharines Standard or Niagara Falls Review. Great writers. They know what they're talking about. They research their stuff. So the stuff that I'm getting is mostly true, and then I throw my opinion in, which is my opinion. It's just what I think. Agree with me, disagree with me. That's all it is. But at least you got the story in your hands, and then you can go look or make your own decisions on them. That's what I want to do, is do that. Now, if you want to go to North Korea and see the balloons flying garbage, hey, there's flights leaving every day. You can go there. You can get to the border. That's about it. There's a demilitarized zone between South and North Korea. You can't go in there, even though Trump managed to go in and visit them right in North Korea. That's the first time a president's done that in 100 years, maybe. But yeah, so you can go watch any of the stuff I talk about. It's all there. Go to Toronto, watch an Indian movie. Yeah, but wear a bulletproof vest. I'm telling you. Anyway, and this week I have nothing on for the rest of the week. We have absolutely, of course, going to be talking about the Habs and the prospect games over in, I think they're in Buffalo this year again. We're going to be talking about that. And we're going to be talking about the rumors surrounding the league. And we're going to be talking about the game Saturday and the game tonight. So we'll be talking about a lot of things. If you're a Habs fan, you got to tune in. As far as I know, Drew Deeks is going to be in the studio, the superstar of YouTube. Drew Deeks, he's coming into the studio, and we're going to video it. So should be a fun time. Drew's always fun to hang around with and discuss the Habs with. Oh, let's see. On Friday, I have Mr. Golf going to be calling in. I don't know if I'm going to do a video. How am I going to do a video if he calls in? I can, I guess. It's no use. I'll be sitting here. You won't be able to hear him, and I'll be talking to myself. So there won't be a video, but the audio will be on. And he's going to talk about the U.S. Open. All you golf fans, that's one of the big five of the summer, the U.S. Open. We just finished the Canadian Open. We're going to talk a little bit about that last week. Paul wasn't available to do that show, but this week is the U.S. Open. We'll be talking about that, his picks, who he thinks is going to win, some long shots that have a shot of getting up there, and basically all things golf. That'll be on Friday. So there you go. There's the week. Shot. The week is shot. It's only Monday. How about that? These weeks go fast. Anyway, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, right on Chrysler Avenue, across from the meteor crater. And there's a rock in it. Maybe that's worth money. Now, don't forget to go see our sponsors. Support our sponsors. That's what I'm saying. Trying to say anyway. Go support our sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. I like my sponsors to get some support from my listeners because you know what? They're the ones who pay the price to have the show on the air, and they support us. If you see the video, give it a like on YouTube so that the more likes the better, and it starts getting around and people start seeing it more and more. I think this is about my fifth video, so that's good. We're getting there, and it seems to be working okay as far as it goes now. So good for you, good for me, good for everybody. I'm out of here. We will see you at tomorrow. Trash Talking Tuesday, tomorrow at noon. I don't know. I might get somebody in here to trash talk with me. That's always fun, too. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the rain if it rains. It's a crappy day. Get some stuff done in the house. Ciao, ciao. See you tomorrow.